Welcome back to Small Streamer Big Opinions. Today, I want to talk about the new video by videogamedunkey. It is called Elden Ring and it is official dunk view. Where, in my opinion, he had a little bit of a controversial take. So I wanted to watch the video with you guys and discuss whether Dunkey is right or Dunkey is wrong. I saw a lot of comments supporting his take, and while I respect Dunkey's opinion and I love his videos, I don't know if he's 100% right on this one. But let's take a look at his video.
Elden Ring is the biggest game ever made. When you start, the map is like this, and you go, damn, this game is big. Then you get teleported to the other side of the map and realize, oh my god, this game is big. Then you get teleported to the top of the map and you go, whoa, this game big. Then you realize there's an entire other world underground and a floating island and a massive city.
Dunkey is always right. We'll talk about it.
And an entire secret castle. 2 of them, actually. There are secret zones within secret zones within secret zones. So the absolute highest compliment I can pay this game is to tell you that I have beaten this game 4 times now. Right out the gate, we're ripping off Zelda. You literally wake up in a tomb, open a big door, and the game says go. No hand-holding, no bullshit, just go wherever you want to go. Except don't fight that guy, and don't go over here because you'll die, and don't follow the beam of light because that's a fucking scam. Elden Ring's gameplay loop is to put a bullshit boss in front of you and say, okay, now go into the world and find something to chop his head off with. Having a concrete goal like defeating a scumbag boss makes exploration feel that much more meaningful. And visually, this is a world worth exploring. Walking around in this game is like stepping inside of a painting. There are hundreds upon hundreds of scenic vistas which look impossibly curated.
Elden Ring is fucking gorgeous.
And the spaces in between are populated with an absurd array of creative enemies and bosses. FromSoft is famous for their enemy design, and they are really bringing the heat here, not only in sheer quantity, but also in terms of moves and variety. Penguins is in this game.
See, for this, I agree with him. Yes, the enemies, there's a ton of enemies and they're super cool. But in terms of boss mechanics that really like make you sweat, I feel like this game's more like open world exploration focused and less focused on just like the bosses in their own right, just like the Dark Souls are. But I digress.
Doggy statues, doggy wizards, giant lobsters, vampire bats that sing the Halo theme. They got Pumpkinhead to be in this, stretchy lizard man. The list goes on and on and on, and you're saying, Dunkey, please don't spoil this game for me, but I can't. This game cannot be spoiled because this game does not end, okay? This is Dark Souls 4, no end credits edition. But what's frustrating about Elden Ring is that for all the effort that has gone into...
Is this the mimic, like the mimic ability? So you can just become an object? I haven't done this. The mimic's veil. I have not experimented with this.
And enemies. It feels like they only spent 10 seconds balancing this game. The difficulty in this game is best described as, what is the word I'm looking for here? Total fucking horseshit. This is an evil game made by an evil man, and whoever's job it was to balance the damage scaling on enemies did not show up to work for the entire making of this game. Just from saying that, already people are pissed off at me.
I'm not pissed off, right? Like, I'm not like an angry video game, but I do think he's a little. I think in terms of level scaling, like how leveled up you are, when you face a boss, the boss should be able to kill you in like 2 or 3 hits. I think is fair. If you let yourself get hit 2 or 3 times before healing, that is if you like, that's your fault. That's on you. If you get hit 2 or 3 times without being able to heal, that's on you. You should die. And I think it's natural. Like, you shouldn't go through the game expecting to like one-shot every boss. And if you die, the game is not like bullshit, right? Like, you should be dying to bosses and having to learn in order and adapt in order to kill the bosses. Like, he's about to talk about like bosses have like this one-shot combo that like if you get hit by the combo, you're dead because it's a multi-hit. You should be able to realize the tells of the boss and just make sure you don't get hit by that combo, which I think is fair. Because usually there's like multi-hit combos that'll one-shot you. have a very clear tell that if you just pay attention, you'll see. Like on your first attempt, you're not going to see it. And it's going to surprise you because you don't know when it's coming. But if you pay attention, you can see the boss has a tell before this combo hits, which makes it fair. I guess it kind of sounds like I'm saying just don't get hit, lol. But it's kind of the point of Dark Souls. If you truly master the game, you shouldn't get hit a lot. That's why people do like legit no-hit runs, because they just have put so much time and so much effort into mastering the game.
Saying Dunkey sucks. I hate you, Dunkey, nitpicking and biased. You only like Xbox. But always remember, I beat this. And this is fucking stupid. And I beat Elden Ring 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Because why? Because I'm the realest gamer of all time. And I
Here's a funny finger.
It's too hard. I am calling this game out. Not because it's a bad game, but because it's an incredible game that is held back by very poor balancing. Many of your deaths in this game do not feel earned, like dying to this stupid shit or losing 70,000 runes to the wonky
That's fair.
platform.
I guess, yeah, that's fair.
Enemies in this game can kill you in 1 or 2 hits, or kill you with a combo that comes out so fast it feels like 1 hit, or they can stun you into another hit, which also feels like a 1-hit kill, or they
That
can
I
just
don't
kill you in 1 grab. Straight up, having super aggressive enemies with crazy combos and unpredictable attacks is the fun kind of difficult, but making those moves hit for your entire health bar is fucking lame and
I see. This is what I don't agree with, sir. Like, I feel like if a boss is one-shotting you with like every hit, even like a light attack, then you're probably under-leveled. And if he has like 1 or 2 moves that can one-shot you, it is up to the player to like find the tell in order to dodge these moves. I think it's okay to have a boss have a one-shot move as long as they have a good tell on when it'll hit you. And maybe on some bosses I agree with him. Some bosses are their combos are the tells aren't there. They don't give you enough indication that this is going to kill you type thing, like the fast combos. So in some it depends. My opinion with Dunkey's opinion here varies enemy to enemy. Sometimes I agree with him and sometimes I don't. He's saying this across the entirety of the game, which I don't think is true. But I think when he starts talking about the late game, it becomes more and more true in that sense.
cheap rewards. Now, what's fun about Elden Ring's rewards is you never know what you're gonna get. What sucks about that is you end up struggling in a cave for an hour to get a wizard staff that you can't even use. Look at this dude. He cannot actually turn around to attack you. He is worth 3,300 XP.
This I agree with.
Then you have this guy who can do this, and he can say this, or he can say this, and he has this move too. This guy, who has a ton of health by the way, is worth 3,800 XP. Only 500 more than the guy.
I don't get the numbers, the reasoning.
Wow. You think that's fucked up though? Look at these guys. They're literally sleeping. Watch what happens when I hit L2. I just got 20,000 XP for that. There are so many different weapons,
that's ridiculous.
and spells and summons and special moves in this game that should make Elden Ring a wonderland for experimentation. But because the upgrade system is so rich,
I love this. This is fucking hilarious. It's more simple than that. It just says in the parentheses there's a number that determines what level the smithing stone is. It's just like smithing stone 1, smithing stone 2, smithing stone 3. And you need like an increasing amount going and a more rare amount as you go up. But he's making fun of that, the amount of upgraded materials that there are, by using all these stones and shit, which is hilarious.
and stingy, you feel discouraged from creating wacky builds. And then on top of that, you have this late game difficulty spike where it feels like your character just got reset back to level 1. The end game bosses are so brutal and so fast that it ultimately funnels every player into using the same broken builds. It's probably starting to sound like I hate this game, but try to remember, I beat this big ass game 4 times. 4.5 actually. Clearly they did something right.
So I don't know. I feel like what they did with the end game bosses is basically just, if you make it this far, good luck. And the season, it's like pandering for the seasoned vets who are like, game's been easy up to this point. And then for the newbies, it's like, holy shit, the game doesn't stop getting harder type thing. But that's fair. The end game bosses are a little bit over the top, brutal.
Games like this are far and few between, so I want them to get this one just right. And the good news is that most of the problems with Elden Ring can be fixed by one dude with a slider tool. Just turn enemy damage down by 20, 30, 70%, and we're back in business.
1, 2, 3, 4, hit!
I don't know about 20, 30, maybe like 5, 10. I don't think it's that as dramatic as he's making it out to be, but he definitely has a point. He's gone over the top, I think. I don't think it's that big of a problem. I mean, he's beaten the game 4 times, and this is his one gripe, which just speaks volumes to the massive success that Elden Ring is. But I think saying that the entire game needs to have damage reduction, I feel like it's only like the late game that has bullshit like that. Early game bosses that can one-shot you, it's usually just 1 or 2 moves, like a multi-hit combo or a grab, and they have tells. And the tells you should be able to dodge with a little bit of learning, a little bit of paying attention to the enemy patterns, the enemy habits. So I don't agree with him in case of certain enemies, and then in other enemies I do agree with him where they are a little bit bullshit and could be toned down. But all in all, I love Dunkey. I think his opinions on video games are good. I don't necessarily think the game should be changed, or if it does get changed like he says it will, he says he wants it to, I don't think it should be 20 to 30% reduction of damage, maybe like 5 to 10, something light. It's not, he's over dramatizing it in my opinion. But what do you guys think in chat? How do you guys, what's your guys' experience with Elden Ring? Coming from a seasoned vet, there is bullshit peppered all the way through the game in my opinion. Yeah, but that's like I don't know. It's hard to decipher what in a Dark Souls game is bullshit and what is like just the game's genre. Like Dark Souls is meant to be brutal and ruthless, and Elden Ring is in that same genre. It's a FromSoft game, so it's like, I think bullshit, the quote unquote bullshit in Elden Ring needs to be analyzed thoroughly in each case, because sometimes it can be chalked up to the genre being brutal and sometimes it is actual bullshit. I think it's a case-by-case study. It just as I'm talking about, like, it's a case-by-case study with Dunkey here and talking about enemy damage needing to be nerfed because enemies can one-shot you. It's a case-by-case study depending on what enemies and what boss. When Dunkey puts out a new vid, I finally know what my opinion should be. Yeah, like, that's, I feel like, a lot of people. Like, I look at the comments and they're like, oh, he's so courageous for pointing out the flaws in the game, even though the game's amazing. The GOAT of game reviews, which is like, I don't know. Dunkey's just an honest reviewer. Like, the fact that that's such a big thing to people is a problem for like actual game reviewers. Not to say that Dunkey's not an actual game reviewers, but like company game reviewers, just sucking off the game. Like, even the most perfect game, where I don't believe perfect's a thing, has flaws. Like, even the most perfect games have flaws, and if you fail to like look at that, or you call someone who points out flaws in something beloved an idiot or whatnot, and say like, oh, this game's perfect, then you're just ignorant. 8.9, a little bit of something for everyone. Like, he's more than just honest. Yeah, he's just, I mean, I respect Dunkey's opinion a lot. I really like his videos and his opinions on games, but you know, I'm not inclined to agree with him on everything. I'm very accepting of the difficulty and the like bullshit that a From Software game throws at you, and some people aren't. Some people think it's actual bullshit, whereas to me it's just another brutal task to tackle, you know? And maybe it's just me coming from like rage games and like games that give you like literally no mercy, and me being too accepting of having no mercy. I'm very inclined to let bullshit slide because I'm used to playing brutal games that give you no mercy, like rage games and Fadian games. So I'm trying to think of like actual bullshit. I feel like the chariot dungeons are bullshit sometimes, because sometimes you just get in a spot where the chariot's AI just keeps going back and forth, and like it doesn't fuck off, and there's literally no possible way you could run past it and survive. It's either that or I'm an idiot and there was a way to survive and I just didn't see it. I don't know, like some of the platforming stuff is like there's this one area where you're running down while a chariot's chasing after you, because it's like a quick turnaround, once it passes you, and you have to like drop onto like this ledge that's like it's like this platform, and then there's a wall, and there's a small ledge here. And if you run too fast, you'll like clip the bottom ledge and then fall off. But you have to like go really slow. But the timing's really tight because there's a thing behind you, and I end up slipping off that lava edge like 4 times before I actually got it, which is a fucking pain in the ass. Heroes' Graves Chariots are purely annoying. That's not fun to learn. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a cool mechanic, and I've had a lot of cool moments and cool stuff in those dungeons. But it's like a good gimmick to use once. It's the fact that they use it like in like 6 dungeons or whatever is a pain in the ass. Like after like the 3rd one, I'm like, oh, fuck, another chariot dungeon. Like, come on. That I would agree is like bullshit, and it one-shots you like almost no matter what. I don't know like how much health you have to live one of those fucking things running you over. But yeah, closing thoughts. I respect Dunkey's opinion a lot. I think he makes great videos, and I'm a big fan of him and his reviews. But that doesn't mean I have to agree with everything he says. I think he's got a point. I think he's over dramatizing it, and the amount of bullshit he says and the amount of damage balancing there needs to be is a lot less than he makes there out to be. It's much less of a problem than he's exaggerating. But it still is a problem, and I agree with him. I think it's a case-by-case study depending on which boss and which enemy. I don't think the whole game needs like a damage reduction on enemies. I think it's a case-by-case study with specific enemies. And yeah, the genre is meant to be hard, and it's a hard game, but it's a fantastic game. So yeah.